Now we are starting up with the next session. So our next part is we start with the plotting of the bar graph. Okay? Line graph is fine? Is it fine? All of you? Okay? See, formatting can be, you want to do it, you don't want to do it, that's your wish. Isn't it? But those options are available, so you can definitely check out when you do it. But the basic things are plot, multiple plots, and show. Of course, the titles are important. And when you do multiple plots, the legend is also important. Changing the line style or changing the color of the line and all that is definitely not that much compulsory. Okay. Now, starting off with the bar graph. Now, things become simpler because now that you know the basic part of it, only a few things change, right? Now, I will actually update these PPTs before sending it to you because here we are working more on the data frames for the graph. Okay. But here what we are talking about is the basic function for plotting the bar graph is plt.bar. Simple and straight. Nothing difficult. Okay. I will just change that for you and show you how it works before we move on further. Now, of course, let's keep it very basic. Bar graph में multiple plots ऐसे नहीं हो सकते हैं. So there is a reason behind that. We'll talk about it also. Title remains because this kind of a data can be easily represented in a bar graph. So no problem. I am removing this because multiple cannot be done. When you do a bar graph, when you do a multiple plot, the bar comes over it. So you cannot do a bar like using the PLT function directly. There's a different way of implementing it. So let's do this. Instead of plot, let me make it bar. Bar also needs what? X-axis data and Y-axis data. So X-axis is an M list, Y-axis is an T list. So let's try this and see what exactly it shows. Looks pretty, Okay. So we have the title coming in. We have the X label value. We have the Y label value. We have the graphs plotted as per the number given. Labels I had removed, so no legend. Okay. You want to give a legend, you can give with a single thing also. But otherwise, no legend here. And you don't want this box, so remove the legend command also. The legend function statement which I have given, remove that. Let's do that. So this, if I don't give, that small box will not appear. Okay. That's first thing. Second thing is, there's another category of bar is which bar graph which we can do. That's a horizontal bar graph. Instead of the vertical bars, we have the horizontal bars. Okay. इसमें क्या होता है x and y automatically वो opposite कर देता है. कैसे देखो? I'm making it bar h. That's the function name for getting the horizontal bar graph. Now, I did not change anything. He had changed the x-axis values to y. Okay. Legend has the titles have to be changed. The X label and the Y label has to change because now the months are coming in the Y axis and the rainfall is coming in the X axis. ठीक है बट डेटा उसने खुद उठाया इस तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए मुझे नहीं देना पड़ा तो आप एक्स और वाई का डेटा उसी सीक्वेंस में देंगे जैसे आप नॉर्मल बार ग्राफ के लिए देते हैं ही विल चेंज इट टू हॉरिजॉन्टल बार ग्राफ के हिसाब से इट विल वाइस वर्सा द थिंग reverse it basically okay and second thing is that we have to change the labels to get the perfect one. Let's try that out once. So this becomes my rainfall. ये आपको change करके देना पड़ेगा when you're doing it for the horizontal bar. And months come in the Y label. So this is one variation of bar graph which we can do. So now it has come perfect. Months here and rainfall in centimeters here. Okay. Now, इसके अंदर भी there are few things we could, as a matter of formatting, we can do. I'll just show you that. So this talks about the vertical bar graph and the horizontal bar graph on the same data. This color and width. I'm not showing you the whole thing because this might confusing. This is with the data frames. So color and width can be changed. Here there's a color attribute which I'll be giving. So I'm saying it here as color. Okay. The color will change. Okay. Now, can you see the method of giving the color here is little different. I'm not using the color codes directly because that has to be done x-axis data, y-axis data, then the color code which works in the line graph. यहाँ पे color equal to करके देना पड़ता है. And it's COLOR, it's not COLOUR. Anywhere in the computer coding thing, it is COLOR, not COLOUR. Okay, this is one thing. Second is, I can reduce the width. If you're taking this as 100%, you may reduce the width to 95% or 80% like that. So that width option can be given. That is one thing. How do I mention that? Width is equal to 0.5. तो उसको you can see the gap is increased, so 50% पे उसको reduce कर दिया. That rather than being this much, now the graph, the bars will be this much. वो skew कर देता है उसको 50%. Skew कर रहा है actually. From like this, it is going like this. Fine. Representation तो ऐसे है. अब of course if it's a horizontal one तो वो ये वाले में change करेगा. If it's a vertical one तो वो ये वाले में change करेगा. ठीक है? That can be done though it's not significant, but if you want to make it look like that, you may do that. Acha, what else I can give? I can do again the X ticks. Now this is something interesting. What happens is sometimes my data, when I'm displaying the names, okay, they are big enough and they overlap. Okay, let me show you once. Supposingly my name is big. So this is also one of the attributes. I can use that in line graphs also. Suppose it is September month. This is August month. बड़ा बड़ा है. ठीक है, July month. Like this. Now when if it's written like this, obviously वो एक के ऊपर एक ओवरलैप करेगा. इतनी जगह नहीं है आपके पास. पर आपको लिखना भी है, इसको ऐसे ही लिखना है. Like here the month can be removed of course, but then in certain cases the names are big enough. So I want to tilt it a little in an angle. कि वो स्ट्रेट की जगह, वो स्ट्रेट पे ओवरलैपिंग ऐसे ऐसे होगी. अगर हम ऐसे कर देंगे तो आपका लेबल्स जो है वो ऐसे ऐसे आएगा. Okay, that I can do with this particular function that's called the X ticks. I can give a rotation angle और उन ticks पे आप काम कर सकते हो. वो जो values आ रही है, X axis की values है, उनको format करने के लिए we use the X ticks and Y axis की values को format करने के लिए we use Y ticks. Okay, so I am again going back. I'm not really keeping the title to avoid confusion. Let me do it as bar only and not bar H because I want to show you with X ticks itself. ठीक है, ये हो गया. Now if I show this graph to you, and you see it's an overlap almost. ये देखो month in June there's an overlap. Here again it's not, but if the months are more, there'll be an overlap, right, in the names. So what I can do is I can give this kind of a story here, and that's called a rotation thing. X ticks, plt.xticks is also a function of the plt, your matplotlib library itself. And here I say, please rotate it by 45 degrees. तो ऐसे करके this is my normal angle. इसको ऐसे कर दो, 45 डिग्रीज पे रोटेट कर दो, तो ऑल योर limits, your values come like this. So rotation is equal to 45. And now let's check it. So this is also helpful, very helpful at time when you want your names are big. आप उसको reduce नहीं कर सकते हो, आपको ऐसे ही दिखाना है. Some area names का sales दिखा रहे हैं, the area names are bigger. So you can display it like this. This will help you display it better. Okay. And similarly here also you can give the font color and font size. अगर आपको इन values को change करना, you can do that. Okay. So that's one variation in the bar chart which we can do. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. That is my histogram. I've not done the multiple bars of display. That I'll do when I do the data frames. Okay. So as of now, I'm not telling you that part. Do this much. That is just to understand how a particular graph can be used. Let's start with the histograms now and understand how things work in the histogram. Acha. Histogram ke liye what is important is, let's understand a situation like this. A very common situation. You have given a test in physics and your marks are out of 50 shown to you. You can see that in the blue table. 20, 30, 45, 32, 34, like that. Marks, test marks. Now your teacher wants to know that in a particular range, like we distribute for this also, no? Your A1, A2s, B1, B2s. कि 95 and above percentage कितनों का है, 90 to 95 कितनों का है, 80 to 90 कितनों का है. Like that I want to have the count. Okay. So, of course, I'm not doing it on out of 100%. I'm doing it out of these 50 marks itself. So, we have taken 46 to 50 as one range, 41 to 45, 36 to 40, like that. I've given the ranges. Okay. And the count is coming. This is actually my frequency table, frequency distribution table, जिसको बोलते हैं, that is this. जो tally use करके बनाते हैं manually. ठीक है? Now, when I'm going to give this test scores data to him and give him the class intervals, he will do this calculation for me and project the graph. Okay. Certain variations again, and this is possible, which we'll learn. Now, of course, this will only be used, histograms will only be used when you talk about frequency distribution charts only. You will not use it otherwise. Okay. This range in which you divide the data, which I was showing you, 20 to 25, 35 to 40, this range, in the statistics language, we used to call it class interval, and in the computer language, we'll call it bins. Okay, the interval is actually called the bins. So x-axis always shows the bins, and the frequency is shown by the y-axis. That is the format of the histogram. Something like this. This I took from the Excel to show you. But otherwise, when I come to the code now, this is how we are going to do it. What am I going to provide him? I'm going to provide him the whole set of values, which are my marks here in this case. Okay. And I give him the bins also. A bit bins ko samjho. How do we actually specify the bins? We don't give him with dashes key 20 to 25, 26 to 31 like that. How do we write it? We write it in a list format itself. The first to second value, one less than the second value, is my first range. He will automatically pick it up like this. That. So 20 to 25, 26 is not included. 26 to 30, 31 to 35, 36 to 40, 41 to 46. The first and the last values are included, but in between जो values आपने लिखा है, that is not included in the range. उस lower range में, वो upper range में जाएगा. That is a fixed rule. Fine. Now we ask him to make the graph for me. यो frequency chart निकाले, पहले frequency calculate करे, उसके बाद उसको plot करे. The function for that is again very simple, plt.hist. What data do I give him? I give him the entire bunch of values, which is my data here, the data variable, and the bins. कि कितने bins आपको कौन से किस range में bins को divide करना. Okay? The argument name is bins, like color we specify. So argument name is bins. Bins is equal to the variable name you have given, B. इस रेंज में उसको डिवाइड करो. Color you have given and label also you have given, which is being used in the legend, which we have seen earlier also. X label, Y label, legend has to be shown and show. Okay, title is not given here. Rest nothing is required. You take the data as per the range, you calculate the frequency, then plot it like 20 to 26 वाली range में. You have 3 values. Let's check in the data. 20, पहला value. 24, second value. 25, third value. So hence the frequency is up to 25 is your 3. Now 26 to 30. That is your 1. You can see here, there's only one value 30 and there's no other value which is in the range of 26 to 30. So 1. अब यहाँ पे ये blank क्यों है? Because ये 36 to 40 वाला जो range है, उसके अंदर there is no data only. 41 के ऊपर है. तो इसीलिए वो next range में चला जाएगा. ठीक है? So that is how your histogram is shown. One variation, I can give edge colors to make the edges very sharp. Though practically we do not do it. अगर आप statistics के graphs देखोगे, histograms generally don't have these edge marks. You just have those shown like this. If I just quickly show you a histogram example here. You never have this as, oh God. Just a second. First of all, there is no gap. This is a more proper example. And वो उसको सेंटर पॉइंट से कनेक्ट करके उसका प्रॉपर वो निकालता है. You see, there is no variation here. I mean, no edge marks here. Okay. Technically, it is not there. But just to make it look more specific, nowadays they put it. Otherwise, it is not there. So this edge color is equal to whatever color you want to give, you will give that. So edges will be defined with this particular thing. Again, a part of the histogram function only. Fine. One variation. Okay. What else can we do? Second, we need to understand is that the bin size can vary. In this example, we had given the bin size as previous example. Same. Now you may see a histogram here where the bin size, that is this interval is small, this interval is little bigger, this interval is very big. Like the kinds we have in our percentage also. 0 to 33 का पूरा एक होता है 30 marks का, है ना? 33 to 45, 45 to 60, then 60 to 100. Or we see in A1, A2s also, they vary. Your passing marks is 33, so 0 to 33 is 1 grade, E grade. 34 to something else is another one. So the variation of the, I mean, it's not compulsory to have the class interval same. That's what I want to say. Okay? That's one concept. Then you have one variation that you may not give the bins to him. You have the whole chunk of information given, data given, values are there. He will automatically divide the data into 10 equal bins and display. So you can see here, giving the bins is not compulsory. Can you see here? I've not given the bins. उसने automatically इस data में से range भी खुद ही divide किया है, equal division में. Of course, mathematically you'll apply that. इसका lower limit to upper limit लेके उसको divided by 10 करके I think you'll do. So you'll have the gaps, equal gaps. So given the bins is not compulsory. Okay. I may also specify how many bins I want. Of course, if you give that, in that case, it will be an equal distribution of range. So here I'm giving him that I want 5 bins. 5 में ही break करो, 4 में break करो, 10 में break करो, 20 में break करो. You can give that. You're giving him the count. You've given them the whole data. And then you're telling him bins is equal to the count of the number of bins you want. Okay? This more variation you may do, and you'll get your graph. Few things about it that your optional arguments are there in the histogram. It's a sequence of integer values only. If you don't mention, it is 10. Depends if they are not mentioned. And if you are mentioning the bins, then it is always lesser than the second value, one less than the second value. Only the last value is inclusive. That I've explained here too. And you may also specify by writing the number of bins as like this. Okay, so these are the variations I may do with the histogram in Python. As such, they are simple. First and the foremost is the hist function. So we have done plot function. Plot is by default for line graph. ठीक है? Plot में एक variation ये भी होता है plt dot plot, and in the brackets we can write kind is equal to. Okay, that also can be done. In certain situations we do that. But as such, I would suggest that the direct ones are easier. So you can remember plot for your plot for line graph, bar for bar graph, hist for histogram. That's actually easy. Pi के लिए pie chart है, PIE. Scatter के लिए scatter है. So it's better to go by the names. It is easier like that. Okay. Then in the case of histogram, I have to give him the entire chunk of data and I have to talk about the bins. That is the class interval. If I do not mention that, he will take by default 10 equal sized bins. कितना भी बड़ा डेटा हो उसको 10 साइज में ही डिवाइड करेगा, 10 इंटरवल्स में ही डिवाइड करेगा. That's the rule of Python. You may give the color, you may give the label, and the rest of the things we have done. Fine. So today I am doing it up till here itself. The rest of the graphs, which is your pie chart, scatter chart, and a few more things if I feel has to be done as of now, then we'll pick it up in the next class. Okay? It is easy, but you need to practice it once in order to understand it. Otherwise, you'll have problems. Right?